Welcome everybody to today's class. Today we're doing vocabulary. We're doing advanced idioms and phrasal verbs once again. So once again, I've taken this all from a white book called Advanced Idioms and Phrasal Verbs, and it's by Oxford University Press. But if you would like to buy a book on phrasal verbs, I recommend my book on phrasal verbs, which is Visual Phrasal Verbs. And you can buy this one on my website, which is skype-lessons.com as a PDF for £20, or you can buy it as a physical copy on Amazon, black and white copy, but also for £20. But it's got a lot of pages, plenty of exercises, and I think most of the phrasal verbs, or maybe even all of the phrasal verbs on the board, are in this book. So let's get started. If you have time or money or room to spare, that just means you have some free time or some free money, some available money, or some available room in your house, some space for somebody to come and stay. So you can have anything to spare really, but especially these three nouns are very often used with to spare, meaning that you have them available. Morning, Kate. Good to see you. Yeah, if you have room to spare, you might let your cousin stay. You might put your cousin up for a few days. Yeah, put somebody up is a phrasal verb meaning to accommodate. You might put a friend or a relative up for a few days. And if you have money to spare, you might splash out on a new coat or a new car or a new whatever. Yeah, splash out on, it means to spend a lot of money on something that you really like. And if you have time to spare, well, you might be able to devote more time to a hobby, for example. Now, if you set something up, you can set a business up firstly, and that's why we very often talk about startups. Yeah, startup is a new business that has just been set up. So you can set up a new business, but you can also set up equipment. And this would mean to prepare the equipment so that it's ready to use. So you can set up your computer in the morning. If it's not ready, you can set it up, plug it in, put all of the wires in, yeah? So there is a slight difference here between put something up and set something up, although they are very close. When you put something up, you normally put it in a standing position. So I have some lights here, believe it or not. I have some lights that I use for the YouTube videos, and I have to put them up before the video. So that would be, they have to stand up, so I have to put them up. You can also put a tent up, yeah, which means to assemble the tent and leave it in a standing position. So when you put something up, you normally set up some kind of equipment, but it's in a standing position. And set something up just means prepare. It doesn't have to be in a standing position, but it just means prepare the equipment so that it's ready to use. But remember that set somebody up is slightly different. If the police set you up for a crime, it means that they frame you. I'm not sure if you're aware of this word, to frame somebody, which means to make them look guilty by putting evidence, perhaps by planting evidence in their pocket, something like that. If the police or if somebody else sets you up for a crime, then it means they make you look guilty for that crime by planting evidence or something like that. So set somebody up is slightly different. So you can see that these phrasal verbs have a lot of different nuances, and that's why I'd like you to buy my book, so that you can understand the slight differences that we have when you have the same phrasal verb but you have 4 or 5 different meanings. Now, if you put somebody's mind at rest or at ease, it means you make that person relax, okay? When you put their mind at rest, you make them relax. And so perhaps you're feeling nervous about something. Perhaps you're nervous about your children's exam results. And then in the end, they pass all their exams with flying colours. Yeah, that's an idiom which means to pass your exams with the top marks. They pass all of their exams with flying colours, and it puts your mind at rest. You can relax. You're not so anxious about their exam results anymore. Now, if something makes you sit up and take notice, it gets your attention. It suddenly makes you aware of this, of whatever it is. And so it might be the news that makes you sit up and take notice. Perhaps you see on the news that something about the coronavirus or something like that, and it makes you sit up and take notice, and you decide to go out onto the street wearing your face mask, something like that. Now, if you root for a football team, maybe you root for Manchester United, maybe you root for Chelsea, it just means that you cheer for that football team. You cheer them on. Yeah, you cheer for that football team. And I want to do a comparison here between cheer somebody on, which is you cheer on your favourite football team, but you can also egg somebody on, and this is provocative. This is usually when perhaps you're at school and you have a friend who perhaps is a little bit naughty, and you egg that person on to throw something at the teacher, and it means you try to provoke them to do something naughty. So egg somebody on, it's normally negative, and it means like when you provoke somebody to do something naughty. Okay, it's a similar one to put somebody up to something. Yeah, you perhaps put him up to it, you egg him on, you try to provoke him to do something naughty. So this is a bit different from cheer somebody on, but I think they're related in some kind of way. Now, if you have to sit through a really dull meeting, this means this through preposition, it's very often used for when you go through something difficult or unpleasant or boring. So it might take a few hours to get through the meeting. Yeah, you might have to go through a divorce or something like that. It's got to be negative really here. Or somebody might put you through hell. Yeah, somebody might put you through hell, make you experience hell. So this through, if you have to sit through something, it's obviously a really boring film or a really boring meeting or something like that, because the through makes it clear that it was not pleasant. Yeah, so remember, get through something unpleasant, get through some difficult exams, go through a divorce, or go through something else that's unpleasant. Yeah, I don't know, you might get fired and it was a difficult experience to go through. And you might say, my boss is putting me through hell at the moment. He's giving me loads of work, loads of overtime. Okay, and if you lose sight of something or lose sight of somebody, it means, well, lose sight of somebody is very physical. It means you can't see them anymore. Yeah, so perhaps you're going out, you're taking your kids to the supermarket and you lose sight of them, you can't find them, you start to look for them. But you can also use this metaphorically and say he lost sight of the goal. Yeah, or he lost sight of the aims of this project, and it just means that he no longer thought about that and focused on that. So it can be used in that way as well.